Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? How's it going? Welcome to episode number 867 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live from Red Morton Park. It's about 64 degrees right now, and I've got to really boogie because I've only got about 45 minutes to hopefully do 2 laps. I've got some plans with my lady tonight, so I got to really boogie. But I really wanted to do this show today in spite of some events that have been happening lately here in the US of A, where I live. You know, I used to really like that song, and I'm proud to be an American. I'm really not liking that song that much anymore. And it's not because I don't want to be an American. I'm just not happy being an American right now. I'm happy to be a Californian. And I'm going to explain more. I'm not trying to be a weirdo or just trying to, cry about, Harris losing and Trump winning. But there's never been more scrutiny involved in our government lifetime as there's been with Donald Trump. I mean, this dude, I think he's a massive troll. To be honest with you, I think Trump is a troll. I think he's trolling all of us. A couple people walking on the other side. I got to keep it quiet because they might be Trump supporters. I mean, listen, just because I'm in the liberal, planet of the world, this is like the liberal capital of the world here, California, even though so far 40% voted Republican, but only 60% of the votes are in. It's enough to call the race. It was enough to call the race for Harris to take California and the 55 electoral college votes here. But only 60% of the voting is in. There's still 40% of the votes. That number could go down to 35 or 30% Republicans. And even if it stays 40%, who cares? We're still the majority. And this is not about having a fight between Democrats and Republicans. This is about doing what's best for our country. And there's been a lot of backlash. Like, a lot of people are starting to speak out on YouTube, and I'm really loving this. Finally, we're getting some liberals. We're getting some Democrats out there that are speaking up. Finally, they're talking. Even Gen Zers are talking on TikTok. And they're talking to their Gen Z friends, and they're saying, you made a big mistake. You made a big mistake when you think that, gas prices and grocery prices and inflation is going to go down once Trump comes in office. And when that doesn't happen within the first 3 to 6 months or even year, are you going to realize that you made a mistake at that point? Are you going to realize that? Donald Trump is going to help the rich get richer. That's what it's all about. And like that Gen Zer said, if you're not making in excess of $340,000, you're not going to benefit from any of Trump's plans. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? Or the middle class gets screwed. paying for the poor, so we become poor, and everyone but the rich becomes poor, right? Because now the middle class is supporting the lower class and the poor people, right?
Watch the runner. If I catch it, he can go. If I drop it, he can go.
There's a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about why half the USA hates California. It's no joke. It's absolutely no joke. At least, and I'll say at least because it's probably more. There are a lot of people in the U.S. that hate California or Californians. And I say hate even though that's a strong word because they hate us. It's not, a dislike. It's a strong hate. It's a strong hate, right? And why is it a strong hate? Is it because we live the lifestyle you wish you could live or you want to live? Is it because what we have out here, some of the best weather, the best jobs, the best infrastructure, the best economy? We are the 5th largest economy in the world here in California. We could sustain ourselves independent of the U.S. No other state can do that. Is that why? Is that why? Now, I don't hate people just because they're Republican. I don't hate anyone based on their political party preference. What I hate are morons and idiots that run their mouths and don't know what they're talking about. That's exactly what I don't like. That dude was doing wheelies over there. It's funny, and then there are a lot of people on YouTube, right, that are pretending to be conservative when they're actually liberal because their audience is all conservative, and if they admitted the truth, they'd be out of business, right? And then there are some people that I know are liberals that won't even say that they're a liberal because the people they associate with are primarily conservative and they're afraid of being judged or not accepted anymore. You see? You see how crazy this all is? It shouldn't be this way. But this is the way the conservatives have made it. The conservatives have made it a fight. And Democrats have never wanted to fight conservatives. We've all just wanted to get along and unite together to build a better US of A, right? But conservatives want to make it about a competition all the time, right? That's what I feel they want to make it, a competition all the time. And why compete with our own, right? That would be like me competing with my girlfriend. I always tell my girlfriend, Dawn, babe, why would I try to compete with my girlfriend? You're my teammate. My girlfriend's my teammate. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, if you're an American, even though I don't consider myself one right now, technically I am. Legally, I am an American. My spirit is not American right now. Legally, I'm American. Spiritually, I've checked out. But regardless of your political party choice, you're an American. We're all teammates. If we're all teammates in the same country, why are we fighting over how to better our country? Why can't we work together as teammates? What's the fucking problem? Is it your egos? You know what I think part of the problem is? why people hate California is because we do have a lot of immigrants here that came here and became very successful. My father, one of them. A lot of immigrants came to California from other countries. They came here in the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s before the high-tech boom. They did their homework and they saw they saw and heard about how California was growing. It was going to grow more. They came here, they worked hard, they invested in lots of properties, and they did well. And because they did that, in my opinion, many conservatives in the Midwest and South, and I'm talking about the rednecks. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say that. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. The rednecks, right? Right? The Caucasians, how do we call I don't know how to say it, but the old school traditional conservatives, right? You guys are all upset because you say you're working your ass off in your blue collar jobs, which is fine. That's great. I respect that. And some of you say you work harder than us here in California. So why don't you have as much as some of us out in California do? Maybe there's always been more opportunity in California. That's not our fault. Why blame us for living in a state that boomed and has had a lot of great opportunities, more than most other states? Now, we want to share the wealth. We want everyone to be, hey, Tia, how you doing? We want everyone to be successful. We want everyone to have more opportunities. We want everyone to make more money. But do you think fighting is going to change that? Do you think that fighting is going to change that? Two things happened today. I'm glad you're here, Tia. Two things happened today. And again, respectfully, Tia, obviously our views are a little different. You're a Trump supporter. I'm more of a slight left liberal. You're more of a slight right conservative. I totally get that. And by the way, thank you so much for your messages behind the scenes. I think we're up to date. And everything is all good. So I'm beginning to see a lot more Democrats, liberals come out and start to talk, because now Democrats are pissed and they're worried, and now they feel like they need to prepare for 2025 once Trump gets in office. Right, no problem with that, having different opinions. Yeah, we learn from each other. We do. I've learned a lot from you. I'm sure you've learned some from me, hopefully. But, oh, by the way, Tia, thank you very much for your donation yesterday. I'm not going to mention the amount because it was a decent amount. I'm not going to mention that because I want to respect you on that. I don't think you would mind, but the bottom line is, doesn't need to be known. Thank you so much. I didn't realize it until after I went off the air. Thank you for your PayPal. She said you're welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you. So a couple things. First things first. I'll get to the California thing second, even though that one is really, really just making me laugh, right? So I'm following a couple of new channels now. I can't remember their names. Eventually I'll remember them and I'll share them all out and I'll talk about them more. They're more left-leaning channels, right? And that's what I've been looking for, because let me tell you, the entire most of the YouTube platform, TikTok, Rumble, Twitter, most of the internet has been filled with right-wing propaganda 24/7 for at least the last 6+ years that I've been online, and probably almost the last 10 years. And that's part of the reason why we lost. You know, the Republicans own the internet. Now, they don't legally own it, but they basically, figuratively speaking, own the space. Their message is getting out. Because, in my opinion, when someone who had the shittiest campaign I've ever seen of any president, like Donald Trump had, still wins, obviously that didn't matter. What mattered was what was said on social media and how people were made to feel on social media and the internet. Where were the Democrats? Nowhere to be found. We don't have those platforms like the conservatives do, like Joe Rogan and stuff, right? But I saw in a video earlier today, and I shared it on my community wall as well. Go check out, the community wall here on GNA 2. There's a woman coming this way, so I'm going the other way. Give her some space. I can't remember this creator's name, but he showed a clip of a press conference with the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and he was asked by Politico, of all people. I've seen Politico on the web. I don't think they have a video. They might have one on YouTube, but I don't think they have an actual cable channel. I think they have a YouTube channel, and I think they have their website. I've seen their website. A Politico press reporter asked the chairman of the Federal Reserve, if Donald Trump asks you to step down when he gets in office, what will you do? What will you say? No. And then they asked, something like, what if, what if Donald Trump makes you step down or something, right? And he was saying the laws don't allow that. And he was asked again, and he said the laws don't allow that. And I was like, "Oh shit, man! This is now, Tia. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be really interesting. This is going to be really interesting because I think Donald Trump is going to get a lot of resistance and backlash from Democrats, especially in dominant states like California. I'll share more about that in a second. The law won't allow Trump to force people out. So the chairperson of the Federal Reserve, which I believe is a Democrat, Trump wants to put someone in he can control, right? He wants an all-Republican, all-red cabinet, right? So he wants to force people out like he did last time, right? And this time around, people are saying, fuck you, is what they're saying. That's what they're saying. F you. The law doesn't allow you to do that. It doesn't. So he goes, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, you sound like me, dude. There have been people trying to run me off of YouTube for 6.5 years. And I tell them, I'm not going anywhere. All right? Right, Tia? We're not going anywhere, right? There are people trying to run you off, right, Tia? There are people trying to trash you for stating your opinion. And oh, wow! That is awesome. You know what that is, right? You know when the dude's cranking up his car stereo and then he revs up his car, right? That means he's got the microman syndrome, right? I'm staying right here. That's right. That's right. That's right. You're staying right here. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We are back live. I've got about 23 minutes left, and I'm just about to finish the first lap, so I really got a boogie. I'm probably just going to go. Halfway and then turn around because I'm really limited on time. So yeah, basically Trump cannot force people to step down. It's against the law. And people are preparing for it. They're preparing for what they highly assume Trump is going to do when he gets in office in January. Now, another thing I saw today on Twitter, I follow Gavin Newsom on Twitter, but this same guy did another video to break this story before I even checked my Twitter feed. Gavin Newsom put out an emergency message today to Californians saying that he's going to fight Trump and stop Trump dead in his tracks, pretty much, if he tries to fuck with California. He didn't say the F word, but that's what he meant, right? And Gavin Newsom, let me tell you something about Gavin Newsom. Most of the country doesn't like Gavin because most of the country doesn't like California. Like, I'd say half. It's more than half, but I'm just saying half to be on the safe side, right? Of course, if you don't like California, you don't like anyone from California. You don't like how great of a politician Gavin Newsom's been. And he'll probably be president of the U.S. within the next 12 years. Mark my words, Gavin Newsom will be president. And you whiny fake conservatives out there can whine all you want. Because Gavin Newsom will take care of all Americans, including conservatives as well. I like that because Gavin Newsom's a fighter. And he's got a lot of people here in California backing him. And again, Trump cannot do things that are against the law. That means Trump cannot withhold federal funding from the U.S. by law. Now, I'm sure they could vote us out. I'm sure it would have to go through Congress and a filibuster and all that. I mean, it would never happen. Put it to you this way. See, Trump's the kind of guy, in my opinion, that would try to take away federal funding from California, which we actually put in the most amount of money to the feds for the whole country to use, right? And we get about a third of that back. Right? So who would he be screwing more by screwing California? He'd be screwing the entire country. Right? He'd be screwing the entire country. He can't target one state. No. No, he can't. No, you can't break the law as the president. You can't force people to resign. And you can't make threats to states. If you do this, I'm going to do this. No. No quid pro quo. It's against the law. This for that. That's how Trump worked. Trump is a master blackmailer and manipulator. Right? But Democrats have gotten smart and they're saying, no, we're standing up to you this time, big boy. You want to go 12 rounds, big boy? Let's go 12 rounds, big boy, Trumpy. Let's do that. Lots of people out walking tonight. What do we have here? We got about 19 minutes left. I'm going to go to the end of the street here and then I'm going to turn around. You know, we've got some really weird and uneducated people in this country. No disrespect intended. It's just the truth. Uneducated, uninformed. Right? And when I say uneducated, I don't even mean a high school diploma. Right? If you have a high school diploma, I consider you to be educated. And the bottom line is, what's more important than education is how you carry yourself and how reasonable you are. And how good of a listener you are as well as a talker, right? How fair of a person are you? Do you treat others the way you'd want to be treated, right? Do you take other people's feelings, wants, and needs into consideration with everything you do? Because I can tell you Trump doesn't. And many conservatives don't. Now, there are some good conservatives, don't get me wrong. And there are some bad liberals, too. Don't get me wrong. There are bad and good liberals, right? But from what I've seen, especially out here on YouTube and the internet, the conservatives I've seen on the internet are some of the most ridiculous people I've ever come across. With the things that they've said, the things that they do. And it's interesting to me that most trolls I've seen are conservative. Liberals have no fucking time to troll on YouTube. It's the conservatives. They're trolling the internet, right? They're trolling the internet. They are. I'm going to turn around right now. Give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Oh, by the way, RJ Sandifer, how you doing, man? I've seen your streams, bro. I just haven't had time to respond and haven't had time to send you a message behind the scenes. But RJ, I'll message you probably later tomorrow at some point. RJ, you said you didn't vote this time. How come you didn't vote, RJ? I'm just kind of wondering. I'm just curious to know. Like, I'm not upset about it. Every vote counts. How come you didn't vote? Especially when we have, you know, mail-in ballots. You can mail in your ballot, or you could drop off your mail-in ballot. We all get those, unless your county doesn't, do vote by mail, but most do now. I think it's actually the law now. You have to mail out your registration ballot. I think everyone gets them. So I'm just kind of wondering. Like, I'm not upset. I'm just curious to know why you didn't vote. And do you feel it's important to vote? I absolutely feel it's very important to vote. Because here's the thing, and this is no disrespect to you, do what you got to do. I say this respectfully, I just don't think anyone should talk about politics that doesn't vote. I don't think you should share any opinions. And I'm not saying this about you, I'm saying in general. I don't think anyone that chooses to not vote should have a say in politics. Because it's your right to vote. And how many people said at the last minute, oh, I'm not going to go vote this year, or I'm too lazy to fill out my form and mail it back in, or drop it off, or go to the polls, right? How many people said that? What if 10 or 15 million people or 20 million people said that? What did we have for turnout this year? Just over 100 million again? We have 300 something million people here in the US. And I believe close to 200 million are over 18 and can register to vote. So, and you have to be an American citizen. But how many people didn't vote? Let's be conservative on that, which we're usually not here. Ha ha ha, yeah. Let's say 50 million people didn't vote. Let's say 35 million of those were Democrats. That could have cost Kamala the election. I'm just saying every vote counts. Even if one of you says, my vote's not going to matter. What if 50 million of you say that at the last minute? It adds up fast. Is it true that in California you do not have to register? No, you do have to register. I'm a registered Democrat. You absolutely have to register. You have to register. Who told you that? I'm just kind of curious. In California, or like the other people call it, they call us California, Tia. So they'll say in California, we don't have to register. That's not true. You have to register. You have to register. I thought I heard that wrong. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no. You have to register anywhere to vote. Out of all the registered voters, how many didn't vote? And out of all the eligible people to register, how many didn't register? Right? And what does that do to the election? It affects it tremendously. Right? By the way, T, I want to mention briefly to you that I really appreciate you having my back here and Don's back here. And I want you to know that the GNA backs everything you do. We put our name on the line for you, we would do that any day for you. No matter what. We know everything that you say and do is with the best intentions. Even if other people think otherwise, we know truly where your head and heart is at and your heart and soul is at. And I sincerely mean that. Sincerely mean that. I just got a funny text message from somebody that can bypass my do not disturb list. And no, it's not Dawn. And no, it's not my mom. I'm not going to tell anyone who it is. Hey, just Amanda, how are you doing? Good evening, everyone. Hi, Eli and Tia. How's it going, just Amanda? It's the day after. Well, actually, it's the second day after. Sorry, it's 2 days after. 2 days after. Tia says, thank you. I have faith in the GNA. I'll always have your back and Don's back as well as the other ladies. Of course. Thank you. We have your back, too. We have your back, Tia, because we know you're a very reasonable and down-to-earth person. And despite our political differences, which are actually pretty minor anyway, and it doesn't matter. Like, you know, we can have a discussion on our differences and learn something from each other and teach other people new things as well. Tia says, hi, just Amanda. We've got just about another 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to wrap this up. Get your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. We'll be going off the air very soon. Very soon. Sorry, short walk today. Yeah, so people hate California because it's a highly desirable place to live. We have the most jobs here. Our economy is the best. We have the fifth largest economy in the world. And I'm not saying this to show off. I'm just saying that I understand why you folks hate California. I understand. I understand. Is that still normal? Is that still right? No. It's really weird, especially how much many of you project that out here on YouTube and the internet. Like, so many people are so triggered about California and Californians, including me. They're so triggered. And I don't understand why. This is my home. This is where I live. You live where you live. If you're not happy where you live, then do something to go somewhere where you'd prefer to live. If you want to come out here and live in California and you're going to say, well, it's too fucking expensive. Well, that's not my problem. You know, do something that can make you millions and then come out here and buy a house. Or just be grateful for what you have. I love living in California. I won't say much more. It is beautiful. You can say whatever you want, just Amanda. I love living in California too. But people from the Midwest and the South, they criticize us, they chastise us, right? And these people, you know, they claim to be Americans, right? If you folks that chastise California claim to be Americans, then why don't you appreciate what California contributes to everyone in the U.S. nationally? Because you take us out of the equation and you're all fucked. You are. And there are a lot of agricultural things here that we have like 90% of the market of. We make 90% of it, like walnuts and raisins. We run the Sun Made Raisins Company. It's here it's in the Central Valley in California. I went there with my ex-girlfriend Dana. They have a little gift shop there with every type of Sun Made raisin made, chocolate covered, you know, covered with different flavors, strawberry, whatever, right? Blue Diamond Almonds is in Central Valley, California. We're a huge almond provider, right? We're a huge agriculture provider. We provide the technology, we create the technology, right? Why can't people be grateful and appreciative? Is it because of the position you're in and the position that we're in? Is it the fact that we don't have tornadoes and hurricanes, but you do, and all we have is an earthquake every once in a while, and because it never gets too hot or too cold in certain areas here? What is the problem? What really is the problem? Why do you really hate California? That's why I'm not proud to be an American right now, because I just don't feel us Californians are appreciated nationally for what we contribute to the entire economy nationwide here in the U.S. And I got to wrap it up because I got to run. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Just Amanda. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.